Hey there, Sam. Bootstrap is one of the most popular CSS framework that is free and open source in the web development community. So let's answer our first burning question. What is exactly Bootstrap? Bootstrap is a CSS framework. It means that it has a lot of built-in CSS classes written for you already, out of the box. And it does a lot of heavy lifting for you behind the scene. Essentially, it uses a lot of predefined CSS classes to bootstrap our website. We'll take a look on how to use Bootstrap classes in just a minute. So what could you build with Bootstrap? Here are two sample sites that are built with Bootstrap. The link is in the descriptions if you're interested. Now here's a question that you might ask. Why should I use a CSS framework when I can code the CSS by myself? Well, by using a CSS framework, we can build our website quickly without writing CSS from scratch. Using a CSS framework will make our website mobile friendly by default. And it also has a lot of ready-to-use UI components that we can use right away. And we also have a more organized HTML structures, and our code will be easier to read. Okay, now let's dive into coding. Before we start doing anything, we'll need to import the Bootstrap CDN. CDN stands for Content Delivery Network, and it simply means a group of servers that serves files. So here we're simply loading the Bootstrap CSS and JS files from the CDN. All we need to do is just to copy and paste the provided link and script tag. Alright, we'll first learn about the Bootstrap grid system. Let's create a container. We can do so just by adding the container class to a div. The container is a Bootstrap component that makes the content responsive. Let's try to replicate this layout that we've seen in the last lesson. It is a big row and has two columns in it. On the column on the right, it has two nested rows, and the rows on the bottom has two columns. Let's code the structure out. So we have a row, and in that row we have two columns. In the second column we have two additional rows, and in that second row we have two more columns. I found those images on unsplash.com, so feel free to use your image that you may have found as you see fit. I'll just put down the images in the DOM for now. And open up live server. It's not working as what we wanted. That's okay, we can fix it now. We can make the column that has a ski image to take up only 4 grids by applying the co-5 class, and also apply the width to be 100% to make sure the image fits to the column all the time, and add a h2 headings right under the image. Remember, each row has 12 grids. So we should also specify the amount of grid that the second column should have. 12 minus 5 is 7, so we should put in co-7. The mountain image is too big to fit into its parent's width. To fix that, we just need to put in the width to be 100% and put in another h2. For the next two images, we want to split the space in half. So that means the first image would have 6 grids and the second image would have another 6. Let's do that. So co-6 for the first and another co-6 for the second. And let's add width to be 100% for both of those images. And of course, don't forget about the headings. Now our website looks much better than before, but there's still a little bit of spacing issue on here. We can inspect the element by pressing Ctrl-Shift-C. For Mac user, it's Command-Shift-C. And notice that the images on the bottom row has some sort of paddings, but the image on the top row does not. The reason is we didn't include a column in the top row. Let's fix that. Much better. A key takeaway here is that columns will add paddings to the elements. So we should always add columns inside row unless we have a compelling reason to not to do so. This is a common issue, so just be careful of that. Our images looks much better now, but we're still missing something. We're missing the shadow. Let's add some shadow. Bootstrap makes it very easy for us to add shadows to our elements. All we need to do is to add a class called shadow to our image. And that's it. And let's add the same shadow class to other images as well. And we're done. Creating our website in Bootstrap means it's responsive by default. So if we scale our windows, our images will scale up as well. If we scale down, they will react accordingly. So that's a quick intro to the grid system in Bootstrap. Next, we'll look at how Bootstrap can help you to build out your user interface quickly by using the ready-to-use Bootstrap components. I would like to introduce you to this amazing website that can help you to understand Bootstrap very quickly. The link, again, is in the description. Let's go through the Bootstrap components together. The alert components is useful for showing notification to your users. The beauty of this website is that you can click on any of these components and have a look at a preview. If you like the component, you can simply click on copy and paste it in the code directly. Badges are useful to show changes in your website. For example, showing the numbers of messages or the numbers of items in your shopping cart. Breadcrumb is useful to show your current location in a website. And buttons simply replace the plain HTML buttons. So we get a more beautiful Bootstrap-styled button. Button groups will just group buttons together, and button modifier will change the size of your buttons. Cards are one of my favorite components in Bootstrap. It's a very flexible component, and you can use it to display a variety of information to your website visitor. Carousel is very useful to display a series of images. It has got a nice transition effect, makes it ideal to display catalog. Collapse and accordion are useful to display a huge amount of information, for example, FAQ. Drop-downs are great for menu, and Bootstrap Forms makes it easy to create a form in a matter of minutes. Bootstrap's got these image helper classes to help us style our images easily. Jumbotron is used for eye-catching elements inside your homepage. It usually has a call to action button, and you can use it to ask the user to sign up for a newsletter or other services. Similar to button, Bootstrap list makes the default HTML list prettier. The media components can be used for testimonial, quotes or news, or other generic information. The model component is a good way to prompt the user for something. It could be an alert message or some ads. Nav and nav bars are components for navigation bars. Pagination is to paginate data sources into multiple pages. We also have popovers, which is sort of like tooltips, and progress bar, no explanation needed for that. Scroll bar is used to change the DOM whenever the user scrolls the page. Spinners are to be shown when the page is loading, and tables makes the default HTML tables prettier. Toast are very similar to alert. They're useful to show notifications. Tooltips shows hint on the button. The rest of this cheat sheet are helper classes and utility classes that we can use throughout every single component. Let's take a look at a few of the commonly used utility classes in Bootstrap. But before we continue, let's understand how Bootstrap categorizes screen sizes. If we go to the documentation and go to the layout page, and in this table here, it tells us the width range of each screen size. Extra small is for mobile, small is for tablet, medium is for laptop, large and extra large are for desktop. Just keep in mind of this information for now, as we'll be referring to them as we learn the utility classes. Alright, back into coding. Currently our website doesn't look that great on small and extra small screen sizes. It's not really that responsive. Let's fix that by using Bootstrap's utility classes. Okay, let's go back to where we define our rows and columns. Just a quick recap. Col makes this div a column inside the row, and col-5 makes the column occupy 5 grids. But I don't want it to use 5 grids on small screen sizes. I want it to use 12 grids on small screen sizes and 5 on larger screen sizes. So what should we do? Luckily, Bootstrap has taken care of that for us. By default, col-5 means taking 5 grids from the extra small screen size and onwards. We can add a screen size modifier in between cols and the grid number to override this behavior. So I want this column to take up 12 grids on mobile screen size, so I will change the 5 to 12. Then I want this column to take up 5 grids from small screen size and onwards. So I will need to add col-sm for small screen size and -5 for 5 columns, and now this should work. Let's test it. So in small screen size, Expedition would take up the whole 12 grids, and from tablet and onwards, it goes back to 5 grids. Okay, let's apply these changes to the other columns as well. Our website is now much more responsive. Let's talk about spacing utility classes now. Bootstrap makes it very easy for us to add some quick paddings or margin to our element. For example, if I want to add some margin at here, all we need to do is to add empty for margin top dash a multiplier between 0 and 5, which multiply the base bootstrap spacer. Let's put in 5 for now, and there we go. We can also put in MR for margin right, MB for margin bottom, ML for margin left. And the same convention applies. And similar to code, we can add a screen size before the multiplier, and that would mean adding that margin on that specific screen size and onwards. For example, if I add MD before the multiplier, that margin will only appear on medium size and onwards. Similar to margin, we can also add paddings to an element by using the P class. So if we want to add padding top, we just do pt-5, and it works exactly the same as margin. One more thing I want to add is that if you don't put in any direction, Bootstrap will add margin or padding to all direction. We can also do px for x direction, which is left and right, and py for y direction, which is top and bottom. We can quickly add a border to an element by using the border class, and also background color by using the bg helper classes. We can also align the text by using the text helper classes. For example, text-center will centerize a text, and text left will move it to the left, and text right will move it to the right. We can also capitalize text and also make them into uppercase. We have covered quite a bit so far, and I think it's a good place to stop here. Please take a good look at the Bootstrap cheat sheet and spend some time playing around with it. Let's sum everything up. CSS frameworks like Bootstrap take as a lot of boilerplate for us. Just a friendly reminder, boilerplate means repetitive code that we have to include in every project. Bootstrap grid system is awesome, so make use of that whenever you can. Bootstrap cheat sheet is a great way to help you to get started with Bootstrap. And again, make sure you play around with that. That's it for now, and I'll see you again shortly. If you enjoyed the content of this video, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and the bell icon for more content to come. It will really help me out. Thanks for your support.